You can tell a lot about a man by the way he greets a woman. Think about it. Some guys walk in with a casual "hey," barely looking up from their phone, and then there are men whose eyes light up, whose words carry more weight than just a hello. That difference, it's not random, it's intentional. And today, I'm going to show you how men greet women they secretly want. Not just for the night, not just for a season, but forever. You can tell a lot by the way a man uses his eyes. When he greets the woman he wants, it's never casual, it's never distracted, and it's never just going through the motions. His eyes are the first thing that give him away. Because presence shows up there before it shows up anywhere else. You ever notice how some guys walk into a room and their glance bounces off everything like a pinball? Phone, wall, floor, ceiling, anyone passing by. But then when they see the person they actually care about, it's like everything else fades. That shift isn't an accident. It's intentional, and it's powerful. When a man wants a woman forever, the way he looks at her says more than his words ever could. It's not just a glance, it's a grounding. His eyes don't dart around, they land. It's like he's telling her without even speaking, "You're not background noise, you're the main character in this room for me." And women can feel that. You don't have to be told. Presence has a weight, and when it lands on you, you know it. Think about the opposite for a second. Have you ever been greeted by someone who says all the right words, but their eyes are scanning behind you like they're already on to the next thing? You walk away feeling less important, maybe even invisible. That's because their eyes betrayed the truth. They weren't with you, not really. And deep down, you know it. The same principle works in reverse. When a man's eyes are steady, when his attention is locked in on the moment he says hello, it feels different. It carries a sincerity that you can't fake. Here's the part most people miss. It's not about intensity, it's about presence. Some men overdo it, staring so hard it feels more like pressure than affection. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a kind of quiet focus. It's relaxed but clear. He's not trying to consume you, he's choosing to connect with you. And in that tiny moment, that greeting, you feel like you're not just seen, you're actually understood. There's also an honesty that shows up in the eyes before anything else. If a man greets you with warmth, but his eyes are dull, disconnected, or hiding something, you feel it. The human brain is wired to pick up on micro signals, tiny flashes of truth that can't be rehearsed. That's why you can stand in front of someone and know in your gut whether they're genuine. Men who want a woman for forever don't have to rehearse it. It shows up the second their eyes meet hers. And here's what's even more telling: the way he greets her doesn't change depending on who's around. It's not louder because his friends are there. It's not colder because he's in public. It's not put on like a performance. His eyes carry the same weight whether the room is full or empty. That consistency tells you this isn't about appearances. It's about her. Now, does every man realize he's doing this? Not always. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's instinct. But if you watch closely, it's undeniable. The eyes give away what the heart is holding on to. And if he greets a woman with that grounded presence every single time, she doesn't have to wonder where she stands. Because the truth is simple: when a man truly wants a woman in his forever, the very first place it shows up is in his eyes. Energy doesn't lie. You can hear it in a voice, you can feel it in a room, and you can definitely sense it in a greeting. When a man sees the woman he secretly wants forever, his whole energy shifts. It's like the atmosphere around him changes, even if just slightly. His tone, his body language, the way he carries himself, it all recalibrates. And the key is, he doesn't even have to announce it. It just happens. Picture this. A man is laughing with his friends, leaning back, casual, maybe a little distracted. Then she walks in. The conversation doesn't matter as much anymore. His shoulders pull up straighter, his words slow down, and when he says hello, it's not rushed. That moment matters, and he treats it like it matters. That's how you know the difference between a surface, level interaction and one that comes from a deeper place. A greeting can feel like autopilot, right? We do it 100 times a day. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Just filler. But when it's someone he actually wants forever, autopilot gets switched off. His energy isn't coasting anymore, it's intentional. The sound of his voice changes. He might not even notice it, but it carries more weight. It drops into a warmer register, or it becomes steadier, calmer. Sometimes he gets quieter, almost like the moment is sacred. Other times he gets brighter, like a burst of joy he can't hold back. Either way, it's different than how he greets anyone else. And this is the part that most people overlook. The body always tells on you. Words are easy to repeat, but posture, presence, movement, those are harder to fake. Watch a man greet a woman he doesn't really care about. He might keep walking, toss a wave, look past her while he says hello. It's half an interaction at best. But watch him greet the one he secretly wants forever. He slows down. Even if it's only for 2 seconds, his body stops rushing. The world pauses long enough for him to mark that moment. That pause alone says, "You're worth more than my hurry." There's a rhythm to it too. He's not stumbling over himself, not trying too hard to impress, but there's a subtle shift, like his energy is fully anchored in that space. It feels different to her because it is different. She can sense that he's not distracted by the noise of the room, not halfway in his head. He's here, with her, in that hello. And here's where it gets really powerful. That change in energy is not just about attraction, it's about value. He values her presence enough to meet it with more of himself. That's why the greeting doesn't feel like routine. It feels like respect, like admiration, like affection wrapped up in the simplest word. This isn't something he can manufacture every now and then. If a man is only shifting his energy when it's convenient, she'll notice. Consistency is what makes it real. Every greeting, every time he sees her, the shift is there, maybe subtle, maybe small, but it's steady, and that steady presence creates safety, it creates trust. It says, "You don't have to guess how important you are to me, because I show you every time I say hello." Because when a man wants a woman forever, you don't just hear it in his words, you feel it in the way his energy changes the moment she walks into the room. There's something powerful about hearing your own name. It's simple, it's ordinary, but when it's spoken with intention, it lands differently. When a man greets the woman he secretly wants forever, he doesn't just say hello, he says her name. And not in the way you hear it from a stranger reading it off a form or a coworker just going through the motions. He says it like it belongs to him in that moment, like it carries weight, like he's reminding both of them that she's not just anyone. Think about it. When you walk into a room and someone looks up and says, "Hey," it's fine. It's polite. But when they say, "Hey, Sarah," or "Good to see you, Emily," the tone changes. You feel recognized. You feel singled out in a way that makes you matter in that exact second. A name has the power to pull someone out of the background and into the spotlight. And when a man is serious about a woman, when she's not just another person passing through his day, her name naturally becomes a part of his greeting. It's not just about the word itself. It's about how he carries it. There's warmth in it, a kind of softness that isn't forced. The way he says her name sounds different than when he says anyone else's. There's a rhythm, almost like music, because he's not just using it to identify her, he's using it to connect with her. That connection can be felt, and it's not something that can be copied without the heart behind it. Watch closely, and you'll see this difference in action. If he's casual with someone, the name is mechanical, flat, over before it begins. But when it's her, the one he wants, there's a slight shift. Maybe his voice lingers, maybe there's a hint of a smile wrapping around the syllables, maybe he just delivers it with a quiet steadiness. However it comes out, it feels personal. She can sense that he doesn't just know her name, he values it. And here's the thing, using someone's name is one of the easiest things in the world to do, but most people don't do it often. Why? Because we save it for the people who matter. You don't burn energy on people you don't care to connect with. But when a man wants a woman and is forever, he doesn't skip her name, he doesn't brush past it. It becomes second nature to greet her in a way that feels anchored in who she is. Even in small settings, texting, a phone call, meeting in passing, you'll notice it. He doesn't just say, hey, he says, hey, Anna, or hi, Rachel. It's almost like he's reminding her, I see you, I know you. I'm not just speaking words into the air. I'm speaking to you. That subtle distinction can make the most ordinary greeting feel intentional, and that intention is what separates a man who's casual from a man who's serious. The beauty is, this doesn't have to be overdone. It's not about theatrics or trying too hard. In fact, the more natural it feels, the more genuine it is. And that's the real giveaway. If her name comes out of his mouth with ease, with warmth, with a consistency that doesn't rise and fall depending on his mood, then she knows he's not just greeting her, he's cherishing her. Because when a man secretly wants a woman forever, even something as ordinary as saying her name becomes extraordinary. There's a small detail most people overlook when it comes to greetings, and it happens before a single word is spoken. It's the pause. That little beat of silence right before he opens his mouth. You've probably seen it without realizing what it meant. A man sees the woman he truly wants forever, and instead of blurting out a quick hello or rushing through the moment, he hesitates just slightly. Not because he's unsure, not because he's rehearsing lines in his head, but because he wants to get it right. That pause is the evidence that she matters. Now, here's why this is so telling. Most greetings are automatic. We walk into a room, we say hi to whoever's in front of us, and we keep moving. There's no thought behind it because it's habit. But when she walks in, the one he's been thinking about, the one his heart pulls toward, his brain doesn't let it run on autopilot. For a fraction of a second, he stops. He collects himself. It's almost like his body is saying, slow down, this isn't just anyone. That pause before the words is the space where intention lives. And you can feel the difference. Think about it. When someone greets you without looking up, the words just fall flat. But when there's that microsecond of silence, that extra breath before the words come out, it hits differently. It feels like the greeting is chosen, not just spoken. That's the part that makes you lean in. Because the pause tells you he didn't just see you, he noticed you. And there's a difference between being seen and being noticed. What's interesting is that this pause doesn't have to be long. It's not about standing there in awkward silence, fumbling or freezing. It's subtle, almost invisible if you're not paying attention. But she feels it. The stillness in his body, the flicker in his eyes, the way his chest rises with a slightly deeper breath, it all adds up to presence. That's what she feels, even if she couldn't describe it in words. Presence. It's also about care. When a man pauses before greeting the woman he wants forever, what he's really doing is giving himself a moment to line up his words with his heart. He's not throwing out the same hey. He gives everyone else. He's choosing something warmer, something personal, something worthy of her. It may be as simple as her name, or a soft, good to see you. But that brief pause makes sure the delivery matches the intention. And here's where it gets even more real. This pause isn't always conscious. He may not even realize he's doing it. But the heart has a way of showing itself in little ways like this. It's instinct. His body slows down because she speeds up his emotions. And when he gathers himself in that split second before speaking, it shows she carries enough importance to pull him off of autopilot. Now, pay attention to the consistency. If he only pauses when he feels like performing, it comes across as staged. But if every time he sees her, even in the simplest moments, there's that slight reset before he speaks, then it's genuine. That's not performance, that's presence. And presence repeated over and over again becomes trust. Because the truth is, anyone can say hello. But when a man secretly wants a woman forever, even the silence right before his words carries meaning. Sometimes the most powerful part of a greeting isn't in the words at all. It's in the gestures that come with them. The small, almost unnoticeable touches that tell the truth long before the man ever does. When he secretly wants a woman forever, his greeting isn't just sound, it's action. Maybe it's the way his hand lightly grazes her shoulder when he leans in to say hello, or how he instinctively places a palm at her back when they walk through a crowded doorway. These little touches aren't random. They're signals, soft, subtle, but full of meaning. The beauty of these gestures is that they're not about possession, they're about presence. He's not trying to control her space, he's trying to honor it. That slight touch on the arm, the way he steadies her when she steps down a curb, even something as simple as holding out his hand for a shake, but letting it linger a fraction longer than usual, all of it says the same thing. I notice you. I want to be close to you, and I want you to feel safe with me. Now here's where it gets interesting. With anyone else, his greeting might be all words, quick, casual, disconnected. But with her, it's different. His body gets involved. His instinct to protect, to connect, comes out through these little physical cues. And they're never over the top. You won't see him grabbing or clinging or making a scene. It's too genuine for that. Instead, it's quiet. Respectful, like a language only the two of them understand. Think about the last time someone greeted you with more than words. Maybe it was a hug that lasted 1 second longer than normal, or a handshake that pulled you just a little closer, or even a simple pat on the shoulder that carried warmth instead of distance. You remember it, don't you? That's because the body has a way of communicating what the heart can't always say out loud. For a man who secretly wants a woman forever, these moments aren't strategic. They're natural. His hand goes to her back not because he thought about it, but because he feels drawn to make space for her, to make sure she's steady, to make sure she knows she matters. It's instinct dressed up as manners, and it reveals more than he probably realizes. And here's the real marker: consistency. If he only reaches out once in a while, it might not mean much. But if every greeting carries with it some small gesture, a hand, a hug, a guiding touch, then it's no accident. It's who he becomes around her. His greetings don't just announce her presence, they embrace it. They say, I want you close, and I want you comfortable. That's a very different message than the surface, level greetings he gives the rest of the world. Even the smallest moments tell a story. When he leans down slightly as he says hello, when he angles his body toward hers instead of away, when he lets his hand linger for a breath longer than usual. Those are the unspoken ways he shows her that she is not just another face in the crowd. She is the reason his body language shifts, the reason his instincts soften, the reason his greeting carries weight without needing grand gestures. Because when a man secretly wants a woman forever, his hello doesn't just touch her ears. It touches her heart through the smallest, most intentional gestures. The real test of a man's greeting isn't in the grand gestures or the one-time charm. It's in the consistency. Anybody can show up once, put on a smile, say all the right words, and make a greeting feel special. But if it's only there sometimes, if it depends on his mood or who's watching, it's not genuine, it's performance. And performance always fades. What lasts, what carries weight, is how he greets her every single time, no matter what. When a man secretly wants a woman forever, his greeting becomes steady, dependable. It doesn't matter if he's tired from work, stressed about life, or surrounded by people. She still gets the same presence, the same warmth, the same little shift in energy. That's how you know it's real. Because consistency doesn't come from trying, it comes from truth. He doesn't have to remind himself to do it. It's simply who he is when he's around her. Think about how easy it is to spot inconsistency. We've all met people who treat us differently depending on the setting. Friendly one-on-one, cold in a group. Warm today, distant tomorrow. That hot and cold rhythm leaves you guessing. It makes you wonder where you really stand. But when a man greets a woman with consistency, there's no guessing. She never has to wonder if she matters, because his actions answer the question before her mind even asks it. This doesn't mean every greeting has to be dramatic or dripping with emotion. Consistency doesn't live in intensity, it lives in reliability. It's in the simple fact that he shows up the same way, with the same kind of attention, no matter the circumstance. Maybe it's the same softness in his tone, the same way his eyes light up, the same hand at her back as they move through a room. Whatever it is, it doesn't disappear. And that steady pattern builds trust. Here's why that matters so much. When a woman sees that consistency, she feels secure. She doesn't feel like she has to earn his attention each time or compete with whatever's going on in his life. His greeting tells her, you have a permanent place here, not a conditional one. And that feeling of security, that's the foundation of forever. Contrast that with the man who only greets her with enthusiasm when it's convenient, or when he wants something, or when he's in a good mood. That inconsistency doesn't just confuse her, it erodes her trust. Because if his greeting shifts like the wind, how can she believe his heart is steady? That's why the way he says hello matters so much more than people give it credit for. It's not about the word itself, it's about the pattern behind it. Consistency also separates love from performance. A man who's performing can impress you once or twice. He can turn it on when people are watching. He can deliver the perfect hello when he wants to charm. But over time, performance cracks. You see the gaps. You notice when the energy is missing. But a man who truly wants her forever doesn't need a script. His consistency is effortless because it comes from the real thing. And that's the difference. The man who greets a woman the same way every single time, warmly, presently, sincerely, is showing her more than manners. He's showing her his heart again and again until she no longer has to question if it's real. Because when a man secretly wants a woman forever, it's not the one perfect hello that matters. It's the fact that every hello carries the same truth.